Hi there, Dr. Carmen McGinnis here with your Sunday segment. So as promised, we're going to go through the last three of identifying a secure sense of self, which I started. This is a two-part series which I started last Sunday, and I will put a link up here in just a moment. So let's see, let's get to the beginning. So last Sunday, I asked my viewers to answer the following questions about yourself. Who am I? Number one. What are my personal characteristics? Number two. Number three is, what do I believe? Number four, what am I interested in? And the last one that we went through last week, number five, was, what do I like to do? And it's been my experience in working with many clients now that those five questions are fundamental to understanding who you are. And that it is always, not sometimes, not most of the time, but always surprising to people when they start to delve into this, just how long an inventory they can develop with these questions. They often think of things that surprise them and open up opportunities that they might have forgotten about. Sometimes these carry with them a sense of regret because they feel like, oh, wow, I used to be interested in. An example for me, a recent one, is yoga. I used to be a yoga teacher. I had a school for children, a yoga school for children and mummies of children. And really, really enjoyed it. And I continued my practice of yoga at home for many years. But then when I broke my arm last summer, I stopped doing yoga. The doctor said, oh, absolutely no heavy weight bearing. Not that I'm that heavy, but it is weight for at least a year. So just now starting to get back into yoga. And it was really when I wrote last week's segment and started doing some of the activities myself that I remembered yoga. So getting back to that now, yay. So that's just one tiny example. There's so many things that we start in life that we are really into, and then they get lost along the way because life happens. So as I say, it's been my experience that these things, these activities, asking ourselves these questions, can really open up a lot of closed doors for us. Or at least be a reminder that that thing is behind the door and that we really do want to get back to it. So that was last week. Now, if you're new to my channel or you just haven't done it yet, you haven't done the exercise yet, asked yourself these questions, then I suggest that you do that first. And I'm going to put a link right there so that you can get back to that and do that before you carry on with this one. But do come back at the end here. Don't lose me. And last week I promised that we'd dig deeper this week in this Sunday segment into another three questions that I think are a lot more introspective. And I want you to do that in the light of your answers to those first five questions. So again, please go to that link that I put up a minute ago and do that before you carry on. So here we go. Let's do that right now. Let's just jump in and get started with the remaining three questions. So number 6, after those first 5, is, what do I need? Now this might seem like a simple question. You know, I need a drink of water, I need food, I need air, I need love, that sort of thing. But when you ponder this question with pen to paper, I think you can see how this question gets to the very heart of the requirements to accomplish the above 5, the first 5 that we talked about. I look at these last 3 really as facilitators for those first 5. So for instance, you can't ride in a kayak without the kayak, the paddle, the water, or at least a means of getting to water, and the time to actually do it. So those are things that you might need. You can't follow your interest in, say, for me, I'm very interested in astrology, so again, I'll use myself as an example, the psychology of astrology, Jungian astrology. You can't follow your interest in astrology if you are surrounded by friends and family who are naysayers. They're just going to get in your way. They're going to step on your energy. So you might need to look at who your friends are. You see how it gets to a deeper level of things. You're always mentally exhausted from your day. That's going to get in the way of your study of something that you're excited about and long for. You can't write the next bestseller if you're constantly trying to put out fires in your life, or if you lack the means to support yourself while you write that book. And a last example, actually two more. You can't go dancing, or you're not going to want to dance, I guess you could say, if the internal spark that animates the dancer has been dimmed by the darkness in the hearts of those around you, if you're always being brought down. And the last one, you won't find love, you won't find a life partner when you are closed to the possibility of emotional warmth, the willingness to experience joy. So in that last case, we might say that what you need is not the lover or the life partner, but it's emotional warmth, the willingness to experience joy. So hopefully you see what I'm getting at. These are more direct answers than maybe what you might first think of. So I would conceptualize the examples that I just gave as physical security to enjoy being, just being. Intellectual stimulation to learn and create. Sensual intimacy to feel pleasure. Emotional warmth to experience joy. And for those of you who follow the symbology of, say, tarot, for instance, or any other form of symbology, there's a lot of different sort of spiritual and religious symbology. I find tarot to be very interesting, and I use it in my practice. I use the symbols as a way to get to people's inner, more goals. If you use something like that as a means of discovery, I would pair these two. Physical security to enjoy being, I would pair to the element of earth in the tarot deck. Intellectual stimulation to learn and create, I would pair to the element of air in the tarot deck. Sensual intimacy to feel pleasure, I would pair to the element of fire in the tarot deck. And lastly, emotional warmth to experience joy, I would pair to the element of water. I know a lot of my followers are also tarot followers, so I thought you might find that interesting. So number 7 in my list of 8 is, what barriers stand between me and myself? And this one is a very personal one. Sorry, I'm just checking my time here. I don't want this to be too long because it's part 2. So this one is a very personal one. Whether it's job, relationship, financial, or health worries, it's going to be personal. It's going to be about you. Now, please notice that I said worries. Often it's the worry that gets us, not the actual reality. Clearly, I don't know your particular situation, which is why I'm not offering an example here. But I know that worries are what distract us from us, what can stop us from getting back to us. And that takes us to the last one on my list. Number 8 is, what do I need to do, to actually do, to get back to me? There might be many examples here, but they're so personal, like the last one, that it's impossible to explore the possibilities for each of you viewing. But I will share two common ones that I've seen with my clients, my friends, and in my own personal life. Number one, to learn to forgive. Whether it's someone else or yourself, you need to forgive. Space is held for anger and self-recrimination. Anger that takes energy, time, and space from life, the rest of your life. And after all, it is the rest of your life that is the most important part. And number two, the second example that I see in therapy, which clients often need to do, is to end something, some situation or relationship. But be very careful here. Be sure to state this in the right way. It's not get rid of so-and-so or quit such and such, but a more positive way to state that is to make space for joy, love, job fulfillment, whatever it is for you, state it in the positive. Just as darkness is the absence of light, a negatively stated goal is the absence of what you actually seek. If it's joy, love, job fulfillment, then state it clearly so that you're making space for it in your life. And I'll put a link here to a recent segment I did on identifying what you might need to eclipse. So that's what I have for you today. I certainly hope that this has been helpful. Again, for those of you viewing, if you haven't done the first 5 and you've gotten to the end of this, please go back and do that first segment that I recorded last Sunday, and then come back and watch this one and go through this exercise. So thank you for viewing. I look forward to seeing you next Sunday. I'm going to give you an early sneak peek into that one. I'm going to address the topic of intuition, how to find yours, and how to kind of build that intuitive muscle. And I will be doing a midweek sneak peek with a bit more information on that. So if you're not subscribed, please do. And I always appreciate likes. So thumbs up. Talk to you soon. Have a great week. Thank you for tuning in.